I can't believe that something like this would happen.
Tonight, questions around what happened at Gettysburg College. Officials now investigating what may have been a racially motivated incident. Good evening. I'm Valerie Pritchett.
I'm Alicia Richards. So glad you're with us. Gettysburg College tells us the student who allegedly scratched a racial slur into another student is no longer enrolled at the college. Ireland Viscount is here with our update tonight. Ireland.
Valerie, Alicia, what happened at Gettysburg College has sent shockwaves to the community, especially the students who came up to us wanting to share how they are feeling following this incident.
I'm beyond angry. I am mortified. I am furious, horrified, confused, and most of all, disappointed at what's happened.
It was just shocks. We haven't really had any sort of events like that happen. And it's just like a shocking thing that just came out of complete nowhere.
The family of the victim sent a statement to the Gettysburgian, the Gettysburg student newspaper, saying on the evening of Friday, September 6th, our son became the victim of a hate crime.
From what I know, the N-word was carved, etched with a box cutter into the bare skin of a colored member of the swim team. One of the only colored members, by someone who they thought was a friend, someone who they could trust.
The family statement confirms this and says it was etched across his chest. Last week, the college said plastic or ceramic tool was used to scratch the slur into the student's body.
I can't fathom as to why someone would go to that length, as to why a monster like this, and there's no more appropriate term to use, would do this to someone else. A person, a human being.
Rosario says he's from Kensington, Philadelphia.
AKA what a lot of people call Zombie Town because of the drug epidemic going on at the moment. But now I can say I probably felt more safe there than here with what just happened.
The college sharing a statement from them and the family. It says in part, a heinous act can serve as a transformative moment for Gettysburg College to live up to its ideals of diversity, inclusion, and justice. We pray that together we can arouse a collective conscience, promoting healing and help bring about justice for our son and the rest of the Gettysburg College community. A criminal complaint has not been filed with the Gettysburg Police. The department says the victim has decided to let the college handle the matter. In the family statement to the Gettysburgian, they say they filed a complaint with the NAACP Harrisburg chapter and the NAACP Pennsylvania Conference, adding they also sent a similar complaint to the Pennsylvania Commission on Human Relations. Alicia.
Just terrible. All right, Ireland, thank you.
So y'all just heard that audio clip right there, and I actually just found out about this story maybe about 2 or 3 days ago from the time of me recording this video, which is on September 28th, 2024. And in 2024, this does not shock nor surprise me in the least bit. I know I say that a lot, and that's because it just simply doesn't. That you would have somebody, some degenerate, an anti-black one at that, just simply take a box cutter and carve the N-word into this black swimmer's chest. Something that's going to stay with him for the rest of his life. It's going to mentally and, of course, physically scar him. I'm telling you right now, my thing is, what I was trying to figure out when I was hearing the story was how in the world was he able to successfully do that? Was the guy asleep? And even if he was, you would have felt that because it's a box cutter. And it doesn't sound like, I don't know if he didn't cut too deep or if he did just enough for him to actually, not wake him up. I don't know, because they didn't specify if the person was there or was he held down or whatever the case may be. Because it's no way someone's just going to come up to me and try to even cut me, just to try to cut me. I'm going to fight back for my life or whatever the situation is at the time. So I'm curious, how was this person able to successfully, unfortunately, carve that word into this man's chest? And let me correct the news anchor at the beginning, because she said that he was cut or something like that. No, it was carved. It's a difference between a cut and a carve. This person literally was carving that word into his chest. I'm telling you, and this happened at college. So these are college age students. So you're talking about between the ages of 18 to 22. I always tell people these individuals are the sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters, great grands, whatever, of their ancestors of yesteryears. They have not changed. They have not moved forward at all. We are not dealing with a progressive group of people here. They want to go back to that moment that their ancestors had. They want to go back there so bad. I see the stuff they say on X and the stuff that they just do, such as this. Now you'll have these fools out here who are PC and staunchly anti-black and saying how anti-white stuff is, and to stop talking about racism, stop make everything about race, stop talking about white supremacy, it doesn't exist, all this and the third. What the hell would you call this then? What the fuck would you call this? And I don't even mean to really start cussing like that, but what would you call this? See, that's the insult to my intelligence that I keep talking about. Don't man, I can't even get my words together. If I was that student, I wouldn't let no damn campus police or whoever deal with it. I'm finding whoever did it, and 9 times out of 10 he already knows who did it, because they said he was there, they were his friend or quote unquote friend. I keep telling y'all, this is why whenever I see the black friend out and about with a bunch of PC people, I worry about their safety. I really do, because when you are literally the token, this can happen at any given moment, which means, let me just give this disclaimer, and I'm not picking on the black guy at all when I say this. A lot of you who are the quote unquote black friend give your white friends too much comfortability around you to say certain things, do certain things, and act a damn fool, and you don't check them. And then when it gets to this point right here, then it's like, okay, now your wake-up call happened. But the thing is, if you are going to be the only black person there, which I highly suggest that you aren't, because in my opinion you're putting yourself in danger, you have to be aware of your surroundings. And unfortunately, too many people who go out their way to just to be the token black friend or the only black friend don't see the forest from the goddamn trees, and then shit like this happens way too often. How many times have we seen stories where the quote-unquote black friend goes missing? How many times have we seen stories when the quote-unquote black friend ends up, drowning mysteriously, and they label it as a suicide? I've talked about this so many times on my channel, and I think that's what's pissing me off so much about this story. Again, I'm not blaming the black swimmer. I'm not. But I'm saying, black people, do not put yourself in the position where something like this can happen. He said that this was his so-called friend. What kind of a friend would take a box cutter to you for anything? The box cutter is literally what's supposed to be there for, a box. Unless, of course, you're using it as a self-defense thing, and you just happen to have one on hand. Not take it and carve it into someone's skin to basically mark them for life. You got all these other groups talking about how black people need to stand with them and no, fuck that. I'm sitting my black ass down. Since no one wants to stand for us, I actually posted up I made a post on X yesterday, which was the 27th. I said, PC thinks that throwing on a BLM shirt and yelling "No justice, no peace" is somehow standing in solidarity with black people. It takes more than just throwing on some apparel and throwing your fist up in the air and yelling some words that we came up with to say that you're a quote unquote ally. When we bring up reparations, ending qualified immunity, an anti-black hate crime bill, we get all kinds of pushback from you and your co-colonizing goddamn cohorts. Fuck you all. There's no benefit there. None for us anyway. You get a benefit out of it. Now, I haven't really seen this story floating around that much. It has made its rounds, of course, on a local level because of where it happened at. And ironically, the name of the college is Gettysburg College. If you know the history, that's all I'm saying. The irony and symbolism of it all is very astonishing. I wasn't even going into this video expecting to get this riled up but something just irked my soul when I was listening to that audio. Now, they haven't specified who did it, which is already very irksome to me. We don't know the name of the person who it happened to, so I mean, maybe they're just protecting his identity, which, you know, okay, but they shouldn't be protecting the identity of the anti-black thug, yes, I called him that, who did this. His name and his face should be plastered everywhere. He's in college, he's not a minor, so they can't use the thing of, oh, he's a minor. No, put him on blast. And you see what they decided to do as a quote-unquote punishment. Student who scratched, that's the part right that is getting me. He didn't scratch, he carved a racial slur into another student no longer enrolled at Gettysburg College. Fine, he's not no longer enrolled. What else? He needs to be arrested. He needs to be charged with a hate crime. He needs to be charged with assault with a deadly weapon and a host of other charges. And if I was that black swimmer, he would be catching these hands. Bump waiting for the authorities to take care of it because they're going to drag their feet. What needs to happen to the person who did this needs to happen instantly. This should have been instant gratification as a get back for the black swimmer against the person who did this to him. Instantly. No pussyfooting around, no dragging your feet. The consequence needs to be handled as soon as humanely possible. That is the only way you take care of something like this. It just has to be done. That's just me, but maybe I'm built different. The people that's listening to this might be built different. I don't know who this black guy is. I don't know his story, but I do know two things happened. One, he got a wake-up call. I hope he learned from this. Well, now he has a mark permanently on him that's going to show him, unless of course he can get a tat to cover it up as much as he can if he does not tat it in that area. And then I don't know how big the carving is. I don't know how small it is or how large it is. If it's small, either way it's still fucked up, but if it's small, he can get that covered up with possibly a tat or something. But the first lesson, of course, yes, this is indeed his wake-up call to not trust them. The other lesson is, of course, again, like I said before, just be aware of your surroundings. Just please be aware. Like, it's crazy. They both had to be born around the same time in the early 2000s. People be like, oh, it's 2024. I don't give a damn if it's 2024 or 3024. As long as the system of white supremacy, that was the lesson. Know you're in a system of white supremacy. As long as white supremacy is around, it doesn't matter the time, the day, the week, the month, the year, the decade, the century, the millennium. As long as that system is in place, this will continue to happen. Black people of all ages, from the youngins to the elders, you cannot allow yourself to get too comfortable in this system and think you are just going to thrive. I'm not saying it as a way to scare you. It's just what it is. And unfortunately, you have way too many black people who have gotten too comfortable and they think they're good until they're not. Or if something happens to somebody else, they'll be like, I move a certain way, that's never going to happen to me. You want to bet? There's a lot of people who have that same thought process, and then it touches them, and then they don't know what the hell to do. You got to be prepared to deal with this. Unfortunately, this black swimmer was not prepared. Not saying that's a reason for what happened to him, because it isn't. It should not have happened. But you have to be aware of what is going on, your surroundings, and who you are dealing with. Because it's like that song says, they'll smile in your face all the while trying to take your place. Backstabbers, oh my God, that is a classic song. But that title, Backstabbers, is such an iconic message. Because it's more than just a song. It's literally etched into reality. You have to be aware, because you just never know how people are going to act. Now, I don't know what's going to come of this going forward. I'm gonna see if I can try to stay on top of this story and see if anything goes forward, but it should. But something tells me they're going to treat this like dust, and instead of dealing, treat it like dust and sweep it right under the rug and keep it moving like nothing happened, in hopes that this story gets buried. And it shouldn't. Again, the black swimmer who this happened to, he's going to have to deal with this for the rest of his life. The person who did this to him, as long as they don't put his image out there, he's going to skate right on by. All they said was he was kicked out of school, and that's it. They haven't even pressed charges. I don't even think, as much as I go on this tirade, I can't remember if they said it or not, and someone can correct me. They haven't even properly started an investigation. So they're telling you the fact right there that they're moving the way that they're moving, as slow as they are, lets you know they don't have any plans to really move forward with this. That's why I said the black swimmer who this happened to, you have to deal with this if they're not going to. And what's crazy about it is, if he deals with it, then they'll make him seem like he's in the wrong. I can almost guarantee I'm writing the scene. I'm writing the script right now because it's so predictable. It's happened so many times. When black people get wrong, nothing happens. But when they decide to fight back, then it's a problem. Remember the story I talked about with the black guy, the black barber up in PA a couple months ago? He was being harassed by his PC neighbor, and when the PC neighbor decided to come and approach him and get physical with him, he pulled out his power tool and took him out. What happened? Now he was facing first-degree murder charges. The same thing with the black guy with the family, and that old man that kept harassing his wife and his kids. What happened? He hit him one good time. The guy hit the ground and cracked his skull. Went home, faced the concussion, went to the hospital, and passed away. And what happened to the black father? Now he got to do like a year in jail for defending himself. So that's why I said, if the black swimmer did anything, while it's instant satisfaction on his part, on the back of my mind, they're going to treat him like he was the criminal, and like the person who did this was the victim. And they try to tell us to stop dwelling in victimhood. They keep trying to tell us that white supremacy isn't a thing. They keep trying to say these things. Nothing adds up. But I think I pretty much got out of my system everything that I wanted to say right now, at least. But like I said, I'm gonna try to stay on top of the story and see if any updates come in. If it does, I'll bring it to your attention.